Hi, my name's Robyn Flynn, and I'm going to quickly run you through my quality management system, which, if you're a bookkeeper in Australia, you know this comes in on the 1st of July, and it's all we've been talking about probably for 6 months. So I'll try not to talk too much and take too long, but I really did want to share how I have set up a dashboard in ClickUp to capture everything, keep it all together, and sort of make sense of where my quality management system sits in my business. So let me show you. I have just come in here and I've just made a dashboard. That's all it is. I can add cards, and you can do the same thing if you're using ClickUp. Just set up a dashboard and add some cards. So I've got a heading to start with. And then I did sort of nut out what my QMS looked like. And so the quick rundown is I've got my QMS, which is top level compliance document. That's what it is. But backing up that QMS, I've got other parts of my business, which is my business operations manual. Then I have my standard operating procedures, which is basically how I do everything. Like if I'm doing paid parental leave, how do I do that? How do I set it up? How do I do it? And then the next level down is my templates. These are often used templates that I overlay on tasks so that I ensure everything is done exactly the same every time. I have them for meeting notes. I have them for different things that I do, like work cover, declaration of remuneration, my business activity statements, all those kinds of things I've got templates for. And then I've got my knowledge and resource hub, which is a collection of anything that I come across in my day-to-day work that I think that I might need or might like to read later. Might even be something that a bookkeeper says to me, I read a book and it was really good. I'm going to put it in here because I want to come back to it one day. I've actually got another video on that, so you can jump across and have a look at my second brain or knowledge and resource hub. So coming back up, that's sort of my quick rundown of how I view my QMS. And I can jump across to my QMS documents. This was set out for me by ICB. I'm an ICB member. I did their workshop for QMS and I implemented their document. So I have listed out all of the chapters here, and what I like about this dashboard is it's quite static. I don't need to change anything in here because most of the things I link out to different places. So with this, even if I change something in my QMS, I don't need to come into this dashboard and change it because it will be updated at the source. So let me just show you what that looks like. If I click on my business information, it will come in, open straight up. I put this resource into Google Docs. It's just what I like working in. And you can see I've got all of the different subheadings for this chapter. I added my logo. I've kept my ICB copyright here so that I know that this was an ICB document, and I have updated all of the information that relates to my business in this QMS. So this relates to my business. I think, so if I click through any of these, they will just go to that particular chapter. If I jump over here, this is my standard operating procedures. This is just a way that I make sure that I do everything consistently. So you probably know, let me just click on it. You probably know when you need to work out how to do something, you work it out and then that's great, but I actually document it so that I don't have to try and figure it out again in a year or 6 months when I've got to do it all over again. So I've got this SOP template, and I just find that I can come in here, I can fill in some of the the information, and that gives me a good jumping off point. Like once I've added in a few resource links, I've listed out what tasks I need to do, that I sort of, you're partly there. I might create a scribe, which is some software that I use, and just embed that here. If I end up taking it further and creating a template, I'll put the template in here. So some examples of where I have an SOP. Let me just look down here. I've got Hazel rules. Hazel's the software that I use. File structure and naming conventions. I've got security. I've got my logos. I've got web links. How to use Halixy. What to do when an ABA file won't upload. All of those things that, you have a problem with it, you figure it out, and then when it happens again, you've forgotten how you do it. I write up an SOP for it. So that's my standard operating procedures. And then let me come down here, see what else I've got. I've got some quick links. So just to those different places, ICB, pure bookkeeping. I have some internal links. So I have an award notebook, which is in Notebook LM. Again, I've done another video on that. You can jump across and look at it, but I'll just click on it and show you what I mean. These are all the different awards that I pay under, and I've just added in the link to Fair Work. And what I can do is just come down here and ask a question, and it will give me the answer. It will also point to the right place in the award, and then I can review it before I make a call to HR Central. Just gives me a little context around what my question might be to them. And then, I just sort of call them with a better understanding of what my question's all about. So I like that. As I mentioned, I do have a video on that if you want to jump across and have a look at it. It's Notebook LM is included free in your Google plan. So if you've got a Gmail, you've got Notebook LM. It's really handy. Over here, I've got my ICB resources. So I've just got a list of all of the resources that they have. There's just so many, and it's so helpful. And having them here is just such a great reminder of what they have. So for instance, we're coming up to end of financial year. We've got end of financial year, bookkeeper preparation. If I click on that, here's a list of the different resources that they've got. I can click through those. And again, this is just a static list, because if ICB add more end of financial year processes that I can use, they will add them here, which means that this link doesn't change. So I will always know that no matter which link I click on, I'm actually going to the page that's got all of the resources that are relevant to the link that I've clicked on. Just going to jump down a little bit further. You can see these are my templates. I actually keep them over here. I've got a whole list of them. But I think just to have some clarity around my QMS, I have put them in, I've grouped them and put them into a list. So you can see I've got end of financial year templates, client changes, like client onboarding, purchasing a motor vehicle, things like that. I've got compliance reviews, so do they need to lodge a TPAR? Should they be registered for GST yet? Should they be registered for portable long service leave? All of those kinds of things. And then payroll templates and activity statement templates. So again, what I like about this is I don't need to update these. If I change the templates, clicking on this will just take me to the most current template. So I like that. And the way that I have the template set up also works really well. So I don't have a template on every task. So for instance, every monthly payroll tax task does not have this template on it. It only puts that template on when I move the task from open to ready to start, and then it will overlay this template. So if I click on this monthly payroll tax one, you can see I actually do it. I like having it in the description. With ClickUp, you can have subtasks or action items. I do sometimes, just depending on which task, what type of task it is. But I actually like having it here because when I'm working in it, I might add notes and things like that. So this just works for me. Doesn't mean everyone should do it this way. So what I was explaining is with this checklist, it's this template, if I came in here and made changes to it and saved it, it would mean that all future monthly payroll tax will actually have that update that I had just done, because I'm not adding the template until it's moved to ready to start. The status is moved to ready to start. So that works really well for me. If I need to change a template, so if there's a change of legislation, or just, maybe I change how I'm sending things for signing, I only need to change it on the template, and then all the tasks that come up that then have that template applied will all be using the most up-to-date and current template. Let me just scroll down a bit further. I've got a couple of HR ones and also my meeting templates. I will do a separate video on how I record meetings in ClickUp, and the meeting templates are a really crucial part of that. These, again, I've got an automation at space level, so if I make a call to the ATO, I will open this up and a template will be overlaid, and that will do things like, it's got quick codes, like when you're calling and you need to, press which number to get to which department. So it's got the quick codes there. It's got to ask for a reference number, the person's name, what area they're working in. So having all of that on a template is just really helpful. The same with my HR Central one. Just prompts me to ask for particular details. And a business meeting, I also have this for my clients. So when I have a meeting with a client, whether it's a Zoom, whether it's in person, whether it's just a phone call, even if it's a quick phone call, I will pull up a meeting note and this template will overlay. I fill in the details about whatever it is that we're talking about, and that way I've got it and can reference it in the future, but I have got that information that I have either given the client or the client's given me. So those are all my, different templates. And then coming down a bit further is my resource library. And again, this is static because this is just a link to my resource library. So as I add more things in, this just updates. So as I go about my day, I, collect lots of different information and I will just add it in here. And in the future, I will probably come back and want to read it. That can be Xero product updates. It can be a webinar. It can be another bookkeeper has given me a great tip with how to use a particular software or something like that. I will just put it in here and reference it later. I think, to be honest, I don't actually use this inside this dashboard. I would come over to my second brain here and just access it straight from here. But I felt like it was important to have on this dashboard because this dashboard encapsulates everything about how my business operates, and I wanted to include that resource area, my second brain, my resources, whatever you want to call it, at the bottom, because it is part of how my business operates. So I hope this has been really helpful. I think I'm really hoping that in months to come, other bookkeepers will share what their quality management systems look like so that we can all sort of get an idea of how we're making it work within our business. But for now, I'm happy with how mine is looking, how it's working, and how easy it is to access and to keep up to date. And I think that's the main thing, is just being able to jump in and change something if something in my business changes. So I would just jump in, click on the related link and update it, and that way everything is always sort of going to be current and usable. So thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it.